Hello, this is the One Episode Rule, a podcast about first impressions. I am Magpie. I did what I said. I did watch more Ranking of Kings, and it is good.
Yay! Aw. Those kings got ranked.
Only one king has been ranked thus far.
Oh, okay. Huh. What was the ranking? Pretty high? Pretty low?
It was a precipitous drop from his predecessors.
Uh-oh.
It did not go well for
I'm
Dida.
gonna... okay.
But listen, there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. It's fine.
I think Boji's power as king can actually be drawn to like the power he has over viewers as well, because literally everybody in the show who hangs out with him for a considerable amount of time develops the same opinion I had, which is this is my son.
Uh-huh. They're just like, oh, little guy. Oh, little guy, I love you.
I would crush any man who dared hurt him.
This is correct.
But what have you guys been doing?
What have I been doing? I'm Blackle, by the way. I'm watching more Turn A Gundam, of course, making my way through it. We're over halfway done now at this point. I think we're on episode 31.
Over halfway done, damn.
Had a, what's the word? I had another open house at the hackerspace. Things are pretty good.
I'm crawling along watching Turn A Gundam, but the pacing for some reason bothers me, and it makes me slow at it.
I haven't watched it in a bit, but just because I've been watching other stuff. Also, hello, I am Joey. This week I've been slowly but surely catching up with Freerun. That is a good show. I've also been consuming more live action One Piece.
I was there for that too.
Which is something I love dearly. And yeah, there's
a lot going on with One Piece.
There's a lot going on with One Piece. One Piece is great.
That show is great, but also I always come away from a watching session with a new tiny gripe. And this time's is, what did they do to Mihawk's beard?
Yeah,
my
you weren't
God,
a fan.
They done that man dirty. Listen, if you've seen it, you'll know. Anyway.
Well, we're not gonna... No, I shan't say it. Anyhow, that's me.
It's my turn. Hi,
yeah,
it's Louis. I am not animating currently.
You're on a fast?
Yeah, I gave it up for Ramadan. I don't know where this joke is going. I don't know, between work and like some personal stuff, I've just been like doing my own thing. But I do plan on catching up on solo leveling and Mashal at some point. And Freerun.
Nice.
And Dungeon Meshi.
And all the things.
We're eating so good lately.
We are feasting. It's almost a little unfortunate because I'm like, man, I don't have time to keep up with all these anime.
And depending on how it shakes out, we might have more to feast on at the end of the episode.
Oh boy!
You guys want news first?
Let's have some news. I know what one of these is going to be.
We unfortunately have to talk about Akira Toriyama's death.
Yeah,
because it occurred in a period between the recording of the last episode and the recording of this episode. I did not go to Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball was not my thing, but I did really like him.
The man was innovative. Like we can't.
I was so fond of Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, he's on a level like with Miyazaki and like Stan Lee and like, you know, like as like prolific like creators who like even if you weren't directly influenced by them, like the stuff that they worked on influenced so much other things.
Although I will say that Dragon Ball fans always find a new way to irritate me, because one of them was like indirectly fucking slagging off Go Nagai by pumping up Toriyama, because
we don't have to do that.
He's just like, this was what was on the cover of this magazine before Toriyama, and this was after. I'm just like, that's Devilman in there. Come on,
shut up.
You leave Go Nagai alone. He had enough trouble in his career. But But yeah, I have mentioned this to anybody who listened. I always liked Toriyama's machines. He was so good at drawing like little cars.
He
and
loved
things.
drawing little cars.
And when seemingly nobody else likes to. And all I can say from like everything I've seen is I hope he had a good time. It seemed like from his work it seemed like he was having a good time.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
It was sort of irrepressibly cheerful.
That's true.
Moving on to somebody else who's out of the public eye right now, which is Miyazaki has been hiding, Mr. Studio Ghibli, and apparently the answer is because he's embarrassed about claiming to retire so often.
Didn't he shave as well?
He also shaved his beard. I don't know if that's like Listen, I'm not going to draw parallels between the two. But yeah, he like his film won an Oscar.
Yeah.
And it's very funny. They were talking to Toshio Suzuki, who is a co-founder of Studio Ghibli. And he was talking about how Miyazaki kept trying to hide how excited he was about the Oscars, which I think is very cute. And he kept saying, "I don't care," but he wouldn't stop smiling. But yeah, he's apparently embarrassed that he kept trying to retire, so he's just said he's not going to say he's going to retire anymore.
Fair enough.
Because he appears to be incapable of doing it.
He just loves working too much. He just loves this part. He just loves doing it.
He loves to make art.
He's got to make it.
I hope one day I'm passionate about my craft as he is.
I have said before, I wish I loved anything as much as Hayao Miyazaki loves flying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. So, the bad news. There was a Cowboy Bebop collab for Overwatch, and it's out now. And apparently, it's real fucking bad.
I've heard that it's...
I am looking at them right now, and this is pretty rough.
Do we have an image that we can look at?
I'm getting one.
Okay.
Settle down. I'll feed you. It takes a lot of skill to make cloth, leather, skin, and hair all look like they're made out of the same featureless
What
plastic.
the hell is this? Oh no!
And like, okay, Faye, the Faye costume for Ash, yeah, sure, she kind of works. It's fine. Even the Jet, okay, sure, whatever. He's like freakishly large, but that's just the character. But the other two are so bad.
I kind of don't love any of these.
And you know what? It wouldn't be a problem except for I've looked up the prices.
Uh-oh.
And the Bebop Mega Bundle with all of the stuff is 5,600 Overwatch coins, which I would like you guys to know translates to USD $49.99.
No.
One little trip to the thrift store and you could make yourself into
you
the
could
Cowboy Bebop yourself.
You could cosplay
you could
a Cowboy Bebop on his computer. You could.
You could purchase Helldivers too.
You could.
Oh God.
I have nothing further to say on the matter.
Ed, I think, is the hardest to look at for me.
Ed is really rough.
Really atrocious.
Nothing against Sombra, I believe that is. But listen, Ed is an androgynous child, not a full-grown adult woman.
No.
Anyway. So, would you guys like to...
Should have made Ed the hamster.
They should have made Ed the hamster.
They
should have made Ein the hamster.
Yeah. Oh well. No, they shouldn't have. They've already done enough. They've already done enough damage here.
But
You have a
But
show
anyway.
for us.
Would you guys like to watch an anime?
Yeah.
No, what the hell are you talking about?
I think at this point, because I've been hearing about it for so long, we gotta watch Pluto.
What?
We gotta watch Pluto.
I don't know what this is.
Is that the Astro Boy?
It may or may not be related to Astro Boy. You're gonna have to come with me to find out.
All right, let's go on this journey to Pluto.
Eto bleh.
What?
So listen. I thought I checked to make sure this was only a half hour long.
Oh no.
False.
This was an
Fucking-
episode.
Fucking Netflix making a fool of me again.
Once again, foiled by the 1 hour beginning episode.
Is it a 1 hour beginning episode or is it a 1 hour?
There, I
every
checked episode 2. It's also an hour long.
Oh,
Yeah, it's only 8 hours. It's only like 8 episodes in general. So
It's only 8 episodes, but boy, they're long.
they're a movie.
This is 8 films.
Movie.
This is 8 small films.
We
to back.
can only, because of the amount of content and also the vibes of said content and what we need to say about them, we can only really hit the tops of every detail.
Yeah.
So who wants to hit this blurb?
I can read the blurb. Gesicht? Gesicht?
Gesicht.
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 I can do it.
Yeah, okay, Blackle will do it.
Blackle will do it.
Gesicht, an android police detective of Europol, is tasked with finding the murderer of Mont Blanc, a retired war hero robot. Although it appears that only a robot could have committed the crime, the murder of a renowned robot rights activist casts doubts on the criminal's identity. Indeed, outside of an isolated and unexplained incident that occurred 8 years ago, robots are programmed to be unable to kill human beings. However, the lack of human evidence on the crime scene and the similarity of modus operandi led Gesicht to suspect that the 2 murderers might be the same being, be they man or robot. Shortly after Mont Blanc's passing, another retired elite war robot is mysteriously eliminated. Gesicht noticed a pattern in the choice of murder victim. Both dead robots belong to a group of 7 most powerful war machines ever designed. Determined to stop the murderer from eliminating the 5 remaining veterans, Gesicht seeks help from Adam, a cutting-edge android who resembles a human boy. The duo must now hunt down the rogue killer before the series of murders is carried on, lest the very fabric of society suffer irremediable
Yeah, you're right. They've
irremediable
chosen a word
damage.
that no one can pronounce.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if they had robots that were idol singers, this would have just been techno right over mind.
It's very... there are some overlaps.
There are some overlaps, but on the other hand, no!
No!
I have 2 things about this that made me very excited to bring it to you guys, which I don't even regret that it was too long, even though I appear to have inconvenienced you. Which is, A, this is based on Osamu Tezuka's Astro Boy. A specific late comic arc.
Oh, it's based on an actual comic arc.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was adapted by Naoki Urasawa, otherwise known as the guy who did 20th Century Boys and Monster.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right. You know what? I can actually...
Because I saw it, and I was just like, hey, that looks pretty cool. And then I saw his name, and I said, isn't that the guy? And then I saw what he made, and I said, oh, I'm hyped now. I'm really hyped now.
I actually, now that you've said it, I can see the influence, yeah.
Yeah, you can kind of see it, especially in Gesicht.
Gesicht.
It's going to take a minute.
Gesicht.
Gesicht. Gesicht.
Gesicht.
Gesicht.
I can't believe I'm the one who knows how to pronounce an anime character's name.
I don't
You've been
know
to Germany.
That's true.
I don't know German.
I was about to say I'm supposed to have German ancestors.
Me too.
And listen to me.
I don't.
So yeah, you can even tell because he is the only robot who manages to be tired.
Yeah.
And Urasawa's deal is to make a tired man in an overcoat. That's what he does.
Fair enough.
Okay, so let's hit the tops of this. Yeah, we open on aftermath of the murder of Mont Blanc, beloved's giant fucking Swiss robot.
This robot was so good. I'm so sad about this robot.
They managed to make you sad about this big dumb robot because, yeah, the Tezuka designs really do bleed through here.
Yeah,
because you can still see it. So yeah, he is destroyed in the middle of a forest fire, and strangely, his head has been placed with two branches behind it in the shape of horns.
Yes.
Meanwhile, we open on we come to the nightmare of a robot detective, Gesicht.
Gesicht.
They don't reveal that he's a robot right away because he looks very much like a human man.
He is indistinguishable from a human, but he arises from his very human nightmare to actually catch the news bit about Mont Blanc. While he's talking to his wife, which we do not know whether she is human or robot. I assume she might be a human.
She seems like maybe a human.
Who is concerned about him, concerned that he works too much. He gets a call from Europol saying that he is needed. So he proceeds to a crime scene where a renowned robot rights activist has been murdered in his own home. There's a couple of funny scenes here. He does the Connor from Detroit Become Human thing better than anybody involved with that game could imagine in like one scene. And he quickly surmises that no, this wasn't a robbery, and B, he can't detect any trace of a human being here. What happens after this? Does he They hear about the attack on the checkpoint, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, because there's an attack on a nearby police checkpoint, and of course this strikes them all as related. So they go down there and they find that a human police officer has been grievously injured, and his partner, who he refers to as his partner, and I'll talk about this dynamic a little bit later about how the robot characters are treated.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, especially compared to like Metallic Rouge.
True.
Before.
He's like, that's my partner. That was a constable bot.
That's my partner, the constable bot Robbie.
Yeah.
And Robbie has been fucked up. Robbie is pieces.
Robbie did not make it.
And while they're talking, they get a all points bulletin. Response that says, "Hey, we've got our someone who matches our suspect going into the old town," and the city cop, which I love an Urasawa like normal man.
Yeah.
Very, very, very much something that defies the way anime usually is, which is. But we got some ugly men here doing regular jobs.
Good for them. Good for them.
Good for them. And then they immediately start trying to organize in pairs, and Gesicht just jumps over the side of an overpass. Which is your first clue that maybe he's a little more than a normal man.
Yeah.
He does look extremely normal to look at, though. He is just a German man in a brown suit. But yeah, he takes off after the guy. There's just some beautiful animation here. Just because.
Yeah, it suddenly looks really good out of nowhere.
This city is so fucking grimy.
Yeah. I'm into it.
You'd suspect it was American. And not I assume where they are in this is in Germany.
They're somewhere in Europe. Yeah, I mean
they might it might all be in Switzerland, I'm not sure.
Somewhere in that vague like area.
The only thing we know is they're all close to the Alps,
Yes.
and Mont Blanc was Swiss.
Yes.
But a robot with a fucking nationality. But yeah, he follows this guy in this guy's trail into a church, a Catholic church, and he just turns his hand into a scary fucking Videodrome cyber guy. Just with
this
one
was
motion.
one of the funniest moments
Just
in the show for
transforms.
me because he yells, "Stop resisting." And I was like, oh no, it's RoboCop.
Oh no, he's gonna Ed 209 him.
Oh no.
You have 12 seconds to drop the weapon. No, he expressly anti-Ed 209.
Yes, he is. His Asimov laws are very strong and powerful.
His Asimov laws, and I suspect his inborn morality.
Yeah.
Are very strong. I do not believe that he would kill even if he was not bound by those laws. But yeah, he has this guy backed into a corner, and the guy just hits him with a pipe, and he's just like, huh.
Yep, doesn't do it.
He's just like, I am metal. But he's just like, you didn't kill that guy. You're just high.
Yeah.
Aren't you?
He's like, yeah.
He's just like, I met with my dealer before 5 a.m. He's just like, that, if your dealer's description of events matches that, you have an alibi. However, I am going to arrest you for beating the shit out of that man and robot.
You did destroy Constable Bot Robbie, so
yeah, we actually follow up on that.
yes.
Because Constable Bot Robbie has a Constable Bot wife.
He has a wife. It's so sad.
He's
so
married
weird.
to Rosie from the fucking Jetsons.
It is just Rosie from the Jetsons, isn't it? Oh my god.
It's so weird, but I understand. Because, yeah, he has to go and tell his fucking wife that he's dead. And no, there's no overt show of emotion. She's not capable of it. But you can feel the emotion.
You can tell she's sad is the thing.
Because she makes him a cup of tea, and then she looks at it, and she's just like, we're both robots.
Yeah. She's like, I know that you're just going to pretend to drink this. I don't know why humans enjoy it, but good for them, I guess.
It's just like they say they say that when we living like them might sharpen our senses or refine the ones that we already have. And yeah, he gives her his condolences and promises to try and find the man that killed Robbie.
Mm-hmm.
or well, he knows who killed Robbie, but yeah.
Right.
After this, there's so much in this episode.
There's a lot that happens in this. We could just go like semi-chronological and talk about how he goes and he finds the memory chip.
Yeah. Actually, what happens is he's sitting there talking to. Is it whenever he's sitting there in the dark room talking to the Interpol guys, or not the city police guys, and he's got the chip in the back of his ear?
Maybe.
I forget exactly what they discussed there, but he really lays it out. It's just like, hey, these two murders were similar, and they're just like, oh shit, did the guy who killed Mont Blanc kill this robot rights activist? And they're just like, yeah, I think so.
Oh, because the robots' rights activist also had some like poles sticking out of next to his head like horns again.
Yeah, somebody stuck pieces of metal in his head like horns.
It was fucked up.
And they come to the conclusion, it's just like, well, there was no human trace here. Was this the work of a robot? Oh shit, robots can't kill people. This is real fucking bad.
This was just like 8 years ago. Dun 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 dun.
And yeah, we'll follow up on that. But on the way out of that place, he sees the garbage man boxing up what remains of Robbie the constable. And the garbage man is very dismissive of it, because of course he would be.
He's like, this is just junk. You can take
and
any pieces you want.
Metal. And it doesn't seem to dawn on him that to a robot it's a corpse.
He probably doesn't know this guy's a robot, not gonna lie.
That's also true. But yeah, and Gesicht has a look at him after having a little moment of his own, and finds the memory chip, which he promptly attempts to return to the robot wife. Also, he has a checkup at some point, just to reinforce that he's a robot.
He does
And
have yes.
he has a little conversation with the professor who's looking in on him. And they talk about how like overwork can be just as bad for a machine as it can be for a man.
Mm-hmm.
Um, um, and he goes to take this chip to Robbie's wife, and she's just like, "Thank you so much." He's just like, "I didn't mean to presume, but I thought you might want this."
Mm-hmm.
And before he can leave, she says, "Can you help me put it in?"
I know.
But but yeah, she wants to slot it in and experience the contents of it. And he's just like, I don't know about this. This could be really weird for you. If anything happens, I'm gonna eject it. Okay. And yeah, it affects her strongly. And he's about to take it out, and she says, "Wait, what is that?" Because she has pulled up footage of Robbie's last moments at the checkpoint, and there is no reason that Robbie shouldn't have been able to stun the junkie from earlier.
That's
Except
really true.
that he was distracted at the last second. And you would have never been able to tell if you hadn't experienced it yourself.
Because she was able to read it frame by frame.
She was able to read it frame by frame because she's a robot, and she catches a view of the apartment where the rights activist was killed, and something leaving it at high speed out the window, seemingly leaping from building to building.
They do a very enhance moment, but it doesn't actually get bigger.
Which I actually like really appreciate. It's just like, yeah, there's a limit to how much you can enhance.
It is just like 4 pixels large, but you can tell that it's a thing there.
But they come to the conclusion, it's just like, that's not a human. But is it a robot?
Right. What could it be? Dun, dun,
what
dun,
could
dun.
it even actually be? It's not, like, it's obviously the assailant.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think is this where he goes to visit robot Hannibal Lecter?
Yes. Actually, yes, it is.
Because this was one of my favorites.
This was fantastic.
This is a great scene. Yeah, he goes he goes to visit the only robot who has ever killed a human that they have access to. Braun. A bunch of numbers. I don't remember Braun's numbers.
4015 or whatever.
Something like that. And the guard is just like, says here you're a robot, is that correct? He's just like, well, yes. And he's just like, wow, I couldn't have guessed it with that mug of yours. Here, wear this. The electromagnetic waves he puts out could fry you in an instant. And he's just like, oh, really? Because you think it's going to be like, the human guard is suspicious of robots. He's just like, no, you'll die.
Yeah.
But he's just like, I'm made of a special alloy. I just look plain on the outside. And he's just like, well, it's your choice.
I like how this
he goes to
robot's
see
in bottom
Braun.
storage.
Yes. He is pinned to the wall by a spear.
Yeah.
Braun is creepy as fuck.
I fucking adore this scene. He's
I
so
love
scary.
Braun.
He's got these
awful.
really long arms.
He's got some really long fucking Astro Boy robot arms.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not even in a cell or anything. What the deal? It's clear that they built this prison around the place where he was defeated.
Yeah. It wasn't great.
Because it's in like a concrete train tunnel.
Yeah.
And there's like a bunch of tank traps piled up in front of it. And he crawls through them to go see him. And Braun already knows who he is. He says, you're Gesicht. You're the greatest robot detective mind to ever be crafted. I'm intrigued. Why are you here?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the scene is he's broken. He's one of his fucking eyes is hanging out of his head, and he's pinned to the wall with a big spear. And he's just like, yeah, if they took this out, I would die, but they're all too scared. And he's trying to plumb his mind for why would a robot kill, and he's just like, well, you could trade memory chips with me.
He reaches his really long arm out, and Gesicht just puts.
He deposits a pair of photographs.
Yeah.
And he's just like, all right, if you don't want to do the Hannibal Lecter thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he takes a peek at them and he says, horns, huh? He's just like, horns. He's just like, well, what comes to mind? The gods of ancient Europe, Hern the Hunter, Hades, Pluto.
Pluto, the
And we're just
god of
like,
death.
oh, they said the
Oh, they
thing.
did it.
Is this where we leave Gesicht for a while? I think so.
Yes. This is
Because
where we have to go visit.
We have to tell the story of fucking Paul Duncan and North Number 2.
North
The
Number
saddest
2.
fucking thing I have seen in days.
I was like, oh my god. Good lord.
This section of it is incredibly vibes based, so we're not going to go into heavy detail with it, but I will explain to you that Paul Duncan is a famous film composer who is blind.
Yes.
North Number 2 is his new butler from the agency, who previously was a butler to a British commander in the Central Asian War, which incidentally Mont Blanc also fought in.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a semi-horrifying photograph of Mont Blanc, because it's like Mont Blanc non-lethally defeated many terrorists.
Yeah.
And he's just standing in the desert, and there's just 100 guys tied up in front of him. I'm just like, that must have been fucking terrifying. By whose definition are they terrorists? But anyway. The story of Paul and North Number 2 is that North Number 2 is a war robot. He wears a big cape over his body because he doesn't want to frighten people.
They show what he looks like later, and it's a lot.
It's a lot. He is not for peace.
No.
But
he looks pretty normal when he's covered up, so.
He looks like the Phantom of the Paradise when he's covered up.
I like him.
But long story short, the old blind man cannot compose anymore. He's stumbling over a section of a piece he's attempting to make for himself over and over again. And every attempt by the robot to help him is met with vitriol because he is a machine.
Yes.
Because he is a machine, and the old man has complicated feelings about the art he creates. But over time, North Number 2 cares for him, and they have their fights. North is interested in playing the piano himself. Paul does not want him to touch his piano.
He keeps going in there and just playing a few keys at a time, and Paul will just run in there and be like, "Stop it!
Stop messing with my piano." He's like a cat in the ways.
Yeah.
It's just like, don't knock it off. Don't knock the glass off. Don't do it. But over time, North notices that Paul moans in his sleep and hums in his sleep. And he keeps attempting to recreate the melody, which Paul does not like. And eventually Paul breaks down, and it's just like, after he keeps asking North how many he killed during the war. Which is, he's not talking about humans. It's like, how many of your own kind did you kill during the war, huh? You big gun. And finally, he breaks down and reveals what happened to him, which was whenever he was very young in Bohemia, he felt as though his mother had abandoned him for a nouveau riche man and shipped him off to England to boarding school, where he grew very ill and eventually had to have a radical surgery that cost him his sight, but kept him alive, while the only thing that he had was music. And that's why he's so fucked up and weird and old.
He's kind of just like this bitter, mean old man. But at least this reveals kind of why he's like that.
And it reveals part of his character, because he became a famous movie composer, and he bought the house that the nouveau riche man that took his mother.
Right, and he's like, "Look at me now, Mom."
He's just like, I bought this house. Now I live in the luxury you want. And after that tirade, he realizes that he's been strange to North to some degree, because he can't treat him like a washing machine, and he can't treat him like a person at the same time.
Yeah.
So he's like unreasonably aggressive towards him.
Yeah, he's like really like overly mean to this poor.
Because he's honestly like confused.
Yeah, he's got emotions.
Which is a very interesting examination of how like people would relate to humanoid robots.
Yeah.
It's not always fake civil rights David Cage shit.
Yeah,
it's
no.
much more complex than that.
It can be messy.
But he says just like, I'll give you high marks, just be gone by tomorrow.
Yeah. Get out of my house.
Get out of my house. I cannot fucking deal with this. He's out in the garden later. He hears North plucking out some keys again, and he's just like, I guess he did get a little better, because North had asked him to teach him to play the piano. And he's just like, you can't play the piano. You're a gun.
You're a machine.
And later, late at night, he almost trips over North's charging cable, and North charges standing up in a spare room, which is creepy as hell.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like charging up before he has to leave tomorrow. That makes sense. And he notices that North moans in his sleep too.
Yes.
He's just like, is that robot having a nightmare?
It's like, I didn't know they could do that.
I didn't
weird.
know they could dream. And he spends the rest of the next day by himself, because obviously North left. While he's in the garden, he's humming that tune that North kept playing to himself, and he's just like, huh. Because he kept telling him that he thought it was the missing piece of the composition he kept failing to finish.
Mm-hmm.
And he finally gets frustrated, and he goes back up. Into his. He's got this great parlor where he plays his piano. He starts to pluck it out, and and the music just sort of starts to flow out of him. And he's just like, oh, god damn it.
And it triggers some unwanted memories, and he's...
it fucks him up.
Not happy about it.
And North comes back in at that point. He's just like, I thought I told you to leave. And he's just like, I did leave. I went to Bohemia.
I went to your homeland.
And it's just like, I was collecting folk music. And I think I found the piece that you hum, and I was like, what? And he's just like, yes, I learned from the only man in the village who could remember it that you used to sing it with your mother, because she didn't abandon you. she went with that man to pay for your treatment. That strange surgeon charged an exorbitant amount. And she knew afterwards that you had grown to hate her, so she couldn't approach you.
Yeah.
It was just like, I wanted to sing that song for you.
And he just begins singing his little robot song, and it's very funny.
Yeah, he's bad, which is great. And then it's extremely emotional.
Uh-huh. Shitty old man is actually really touched.
And afterwards, he's just like, I want you to stay.
I'll teach you piano.
I will teach you the piano. Don't go back to the battlefield. And I'm just like, yes. It was like a whole fucking journey of a movie.
This was a full 30-minute portion of
episode
the hour.
The episode.
This was half of the episode, and it was also... This is the fucking fake movie that they make in fucking Pompo the Cinephile, by the way.
Really? Wait, really?
Just as... Yeah. No, it's the same plot, though.
Okay. That's really funny.
You just replace one of the characters with a non-robot.
Fascinating.
And truly it is cinema. And I'm just like, oh, the old man's got a friend, and the war machine can be more than a war machine.
They do have a small montage of them being buddies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then it's just interrupted by, oh shit, something is approaching at high velocity.
Uh-oh. And you kind of, at this point, know what's up.
Yeah, he's just like, what do you mean? He's just like, do you remember the robot the Mont Blanc was killed recently by a tornado? A tornado has been reported within 100 kilometers of us.
Yeah.
Stay there. I will be right back.
This is where they
Uh,
reveal his robot body.
yeah. He takes off he goes out onto the balcony and takes off his cloak, and he's got like 8 arms.
He's got like knives in there.
And most of them end in blades and guns. And he just blasts off and leaves his legs on the balcony.
Legs get ejected.
And you don't see the fight. Because he flies up into the thunderstorm that's approaching, and Paul comes out on the balcony, and it's just like, what's happening? Explosions? What's going on up there? It's just like, wait, I hear him singing our song.
It's really sad. It's really sad, y'all.
And you just see a comet streaking its way back to Earth as the sky clears.
He's like, North number 2, I think that's enough fighting. You should come home now. And I'm just like, oh, like,
you're gonna be late.
2.
You're gonna be late for your piano lesson.
Didn't make it.
Destroyed.
And then we do have to tie up the remaining part of the story, which is we have to go back to Gesicht.
Gesicht.
Because he's important.
Yes.
And he's walking along, and we're going to get introduced to another important character. Because as he walks along in the rain, a bunch of kids are going by in their yellow raincoats. And one of them stops and kneels down by some hedges, and he's just like, have you found a snail there? And she's like, yeah. It's like, I'm very pleased to meet you. My name is Gesicht. You're Adam, right?
That part made me scream. I was like, oh, it's him!
It's him.
It's the boy!
Is Adam Astro Boy?
Adam is Astro Boy. The alternate name for Astro Boy is Atom something or another.
It's the boy.
It's the boy.
It's Mr. Pluto.
He's got a gun in his butt. Anybody remember that?
Yes. The alternate name for Astro Boy is Tetsuwan Atom.
Mm. And yeah, then they roll credits 5 minutes earlier than the thing said, and I was just like, oh shit, I gotta get back into the record.
Yeah.
Okay, let's actually talk about it.
I thought it was good.
I was really good.
I'm super into this, and it's probably just because I really like how Urasawa does things.
Yeah. For me, this touches on a lot of stuff which I enjoy. I like when robots, when they blend how human is a robot or whatever. Mm-hmm. I really like those types of plots.
I wanted to talk about this because this straight up skips all of the steps that everybody knows happened, which is, does a robot have a soul? Is a robot's humanity important? We've already established a robot's humanity is important. We're investigating their fucking murders. Mm-hmm.
Yes, correct.
Thousands of people loved Mont Blanc.
People loved Mont Blanc.
With like a fierce love that brings them to tears and makes them volunteer to create a memorial to.
Like, they showed him, like, playing with tiny little birdies in the Alps. It was like, he buddy.
Wants to sing with the birds. He is friend to climbers young and old. Guardian of the Alps, tireless campaigner for humanity's stewardship of nature.
Yeah. Like that's my point, is the way that they get you to connect with every like character in this, and I say especially the robots. You do feel connected to them. Like, you do feel connected to their humanity. Like,
I cared more about Robbie's wife than any character in Metallic Room.
I know.
So yeah, it's often beautiful. Sometimes a little loose and strange. Whenever Gesicht kicked that guy, it was kind of weird.
Sometimes they do like little 3D clips that scare me. There were like some weird like parts where they just looked like they had like a JPEG of an explosion or something. Yeah. And I was like, whoa.
On the other hand, there are some incredibly fluid scenes. There was a fucking smear while he was walking fast to catch that guy in the church that was incredible. Because he looked like watercolors for one frame. And the fight that you can't see at the end is beautiful.
Oh my god, that scene was really... the way that they set that up, just...
You're too far away to see the people, but you can see the energy.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm gonna watch the rest of this.
Yeah, I'm definitely watching more of this. This fucks severely. And I never consumed Astro Boy growing up, but this makes me want to actually investigate Astro Boy.
I've never seen any of it, but I've always been fascinated by Osamu Tezuka's stuff. Because he wrote so much really interesting shit that is foundational. Like he made fucking Simba.
Yeah.
Like he didn't he do fucking Blackjack as well? That might even be the Doctor they're talking about.
Maybe.
And plus, you combine it with the guy who made Monster and 20th Century
True.
Boys.
Like, that is also very powerful.
I have been trying to find somewhere illegal to read, but it is straight up so old that it is hard to find a website that has it.
Yeah.
Because it was from the 90s. But yeah, Black Hole, Louis, what'd you guys think?
I thought it was pretty good. I don't know if I'm going to watch the rest of it because I've got other stuff that's going on. But I thought it was pretty competent, and I really liked the arc with the old man and the war robot. I think that was really good, and you don't see that a lot, and I appreciated it.
It's always a touching story.
Yeah.
Yes.
An old man learning to love again.
I liked it. I mean, like, it's like, how can you not like it, right? Like I don't know. I feel like it speaks to the genre as a whole, like due to like Astro Boy's like relevance.
Yeah.
Yes, true.
Will I watch more of it? Yes, but slowly. It's not something I think I can binge just due to the profound like nature of the topics they talk about. Gets
it's
in my head.
extremely deep, and each episode is an hour-long movie.
Yeah,
that's true. I think it's gonna have some of that like sadness to it. I don't think it's gonna have the same severity of sadness as the last thing we watched. That is, I forgot to mention, I watched all of
Yeah, we got the play-by-play of Inuyashiki.
Inuyashiki was really good, y'all. It was. I do not recommend if you don't want to see very, very sad media. Also about robots and also about robots and humanity. We're on a streak here, I think.
That seems to be a theme. I thought the theme of the year was going to be Isekai, which we might get back to. But,
we'll get back to Isekai eventually, but I'm kind of digging this robots and humanity theme we've got going right now.
At Blackle, if you'll, I don't know if you were here for all of it, but we have rolled like double sixes on every fantasy anime we've hit in 2024.
This is true.
So yeah, anyway, if you'd like to report the murder of your favorite Swiss robot to us, you can do that at oneepisodecast@gmail.com.
That is one the word, not the number. Please don't tell us about our favorite robots being murdered. I will be very sad. But you can talk to us on Twitter and Blue Sky. We are at oneepisodecast. Maybe send us just like in nice pictures of robots instead.
Justice for Mont Blanc.
Yeah.
You know how hard it was for me this whole episode talking about like a robot versus robot war, not to mention my favorite video game of all time.
Yeah, but
no, I shan't say it.
But those two aren't nice.
They're not nice, is the thing.
They're little bastard men.
They're not nice. Ultra Kill Good for different reasons.
Nobody will shed a tear whenever Destroyer of Humanity V1 is killed by a tornado in the Alps.